Okay, this is a tutorial for how to write a Jane Schaffer paragraph. Okay, and we're not going to see all of the slides. You don't need to know this. Okay, what you need is you need your four-color pen. You're actually going to use only three of the colors, blue, red, and green. And you can see here that you're always going to use blue when you write your topic sentences, and you have to learn these codes. TS is topic sentence. You have to use red when you do your concrete details, and those are called CDs. You have to use green when you do your commentary sentences, and those are called CMs. And you have to use blue again when you write your concluding sentences, and those are called CSs. Okay, so Jane Schaffer developed this little method, and it has become known as a hamburger model. And well, why hamburger? Well, um, because basically the topic sentence could be referred to as this piece of bread, which is called a hamburger bun. And your meat of the burger is going to be your concrete detail. It's going to be red. Your commentary sentences are going to be green. That could be supposedly the veggies of the burger. And the concluding sentence is going to be blue again. And like a burger with a piece of bread on both ends, a good paragraph has a concluding sentence that very much imitates or is a reflection of the topic sentence. So the topic sentence, the top bun, and the concluding sentence, the end of the paragraph, are related, very closely related. The hamburger model more or less works. Topic sentence. What is a topic sentence? Well, it explains the main idea of the paragraph. Sometimes it makes an argument, and that's what they suggest here, where they say that it's usually a mildly controversial statement, okay, something that you have to prove, and that is going to be key for the activity that we're going to do, that your topic sentence has to make an argument, okay? All right, let's go on. Here's an example of a topic sentence for an assignment where the student was asked to choose a famous fairy tale and then find a character from that fairy tale and make an argument about a personality characteristic of the character. There are other ways to approach the same activity. You can make a different kind of argument with respect to your fairy tale, such as some metaphorical meaning or some point of literature. If you want to take that angle, it is a possibility. But you have to make an argument, and the easiest way to approach this activity is to do what this person is doing, which is find a character from a fairy tale, in this case, the Three Little Pigs, and make an argument about some personality characteristic of the character. So we see that this person's argument, his topic sentence, is as follows: that in the fairy tale The Three Little Pigs, the third pig makes great decisions regarding the construction of his house, showing that he is very wise. So, in other words, the third little pig is very wise. Go to the next slide, and it's learn about concrete details. Excuse me. As I was telling you, the concrete details are the meat of the hamburger. And what are concrete details? Well, its evidence or its information from the source, such as facts or quotations, examples, details, information that you get from the original story. Okay, those are concrete details. If it is an event in the story, if it is a scene in the story, that's probably a concrete detail. Uh, all right, and it's supposed to support your point. So, going back to our example with the three little pigs, we say that the third pig is very wise in the topic sentence, so we need some evidence from the story that shows that he is indeed very wise. So, here's an example of a concrete detail for that paragraph idea. Uh, Here it is, the concrete detail sentence. For example, remembering his mother's warning about a wolf, he builds his house out of sturdy brick. Now, students many times have tried to imitate this sentence, and they frequently make a mistake with the grammar. There's special grammar here. For example, comma, remembering. Okay, this is a reduced adjective clause. uh, that's why this verb is in ing. If you go to the comma here, after the comma, you have to mention the subject of that verb clearly. So, he, the third little pig, is the one that remembers. All right? Uh, if I mention any other subject after the comma, we're going to have a major grammar error that is called a dangling modifier mistake. So if you try to imitate this grammar, and there's no reason why you have to do it, but if you try to write your sentence like this, be sure that after the comma you refer to the person who does the action of the verb that comes in the ing form here. All right, that's a reduced adjective clause. In case you want to look it up. In this case, it's because he does two things at the same time, right? When he remembers his mother's warning about the wolf, he builds his house out of sturdy brick. Okay, there's a cause and effect relationship there that explains the grammar. Enough about the grammar. This is a detail from the story that might suggest that the third little pig is very wise. Well, uh, we're going to explain that in the commentary sentences. Okay, commentary sentences, as I was saying, are possibly the extras or the veggies on the burger. And commentary sentences are essential. Um, you can see them as your analysis, your observation, your interpretation, your explanation, or insight with respect to the concrete detail that you just mentioned. In the commentary sentences, you explain or you show how your evidence in the concrete detail really does demonstrate the argument that you made in the topic sentence. Okay. There's another big point about commentary sentences. For every concrete detail, you have to have two commentary sentences. Or, in other words, there's a ratio of two commentary sentences to every one concrete detail. All right. here's an example of two commentary sentences that explain or analyze the evidence about the fact that the third pig used brick to build his house. First commentary sentence. Uh, it is common knowledge that brick is a superior construction material, especially when compared to straw or sticks. That's a material that his two brothers used. I'm sure you will remember. Next commentary sentence. The decision to use brick shows that the third pig has better judgment than his brothers, whose houses were both blown down by the wolf. So, basically, with these commentary sentences, I explain to the reader exactly how the evidence I have selected about the fact that the third pig uses brick to build his house, how that evidence really does demonstrate that the third pig is pretty wise. Okay, your last sentence is also in blue. Let me go back. I'm not sure if I emphasize that. So we've got the concrete detail in red. We've we've got, sorry, going all the way back. Topic sentence in blue. Concrete detail in red. Commentary sentences in green. And the concluding sentence, sorry, is also in blue. That's the other end of the hamburger, the other piece of bread. What does a concluding sentence do? All right. Well, it wraps up the paragraph. That means it ends or it finalizes the paragraph. Now, these points are very important, and you must use these techniques in my class. The commentary sentence rephrases the main idea. The main idea was the topic sentence. So, in other words, the concluding sentence rephrases the topic sentence. To put it another way, it reaffirms the topic sentence. And it does not contain any new information or new arguments. And this is very important. If you mention something new in the concluding sentence, if you have some revelation and you mention it in your concluding sentence, it's going to appear that you didn't know, you didn't understand that when you wrote the topic sentence. So if you realize that that when Rapunzel lets down her hair, that it's actually a great metaphor for becoming a woman, well, if that's your idea, you have to mention it in the topic sentence. You don't just throw that in there in the concluding sentence to show how brilliant you are and how you had this revelation. That indicates that you didn't plan out your paragraph, and it's not appropriate for this kind of writing. No new ideas in the concluding sentence, and I'm very strict on this. Okay. Here's an example of a concluding sentence. It's got a transition word. You can use so, you can use thus, you can use hence, or you can use therefore. Those are the easiest ones. And then you restate your topic sentence. Make it sound a little bit fresh. By making good decisions about how to build his house, the third pig demonstrates his wisdom. That's what we said in the topic sentence. Okay, so we're going to ignore this. We don't use that in my class. And we're going to ignore that too, except for this. Okay, this is not exactly the paragraph that we saw, but we do see that the correct ratio of commentary sentences to concrete details is respected here. Okay, so that is part of Jane Schaffer writing, and you must always have 2 commentary sentences for every concrete detail. All right, the transitions. Okay, these are some good transitions. What else? Here's the whole paragraph in the correct colors. Okay, this is not exactly the paragraph that we just saw. I like my paragraph better, but and it's incomplete there at the end. Let me see if I have the other paragraph. Here it is. Okay, this is the paragraph that I wrote, and you can see that all of the colors are in place. Notice that the numbers for the different parts have been omitted. Okay, we use capitalization, we use punctuation, we don't have any spelling mistakes. We observe the correct form for titles, which would be here using the title in all capital letters, using quotation marks, having the comma on the inside of the second quotation mark, using other punctuation correctly, no misspelled words. You can change your settings to English so that Word will help you identify your mistakes. That would be a good thing. And another option would be to go to Grammarly.com, and they can help you check your mistakes. Let me see if I've got an internet connection here, and maybe we can find Grammarly.com. I spelled it wrong. It's not a real word, so you can use Grammarly.com for free, and you should take your paragraph and you should feed it into the Grammarly website, and they will identify I'm not going to say all, but most grammatical mistakes. You might also find some false positive results. Sometimes they will mark something that's not really a mistake, which can be a little bit challenging. Here it is right here, and I'm not sure that we need to wait for it. Okay, so you can go to Grammarly.com, and I suggest that you do that. Your assignment, you're going to write a fairy tale paragraph the same way that I just wrote one, and let me pause for just a moment. So here you go. Here's the assignment. You're basically going to do the same thing that I did with the Three Little Pigs, with the Three Little Pigs type paragraph. It has to be based on a well-known classic fairy tale. Okay, not all Disney stories are classic fairy tales, so try to avoid falling into that trap. I prefer these to be based on classic fairy tales. You should know the title of the story in English. If you don't take the time to find out what the name of the story is in English, then it shows that you're very irresponsible. Okay, so you're going to write the paragraph. Very important here. I want it to be in Times New Roman 14 point. That's a little bit bigger than normal. It should be double spaced. All right. You're making an argument about a character trait of a character in the story, just like I did in the paragraph about the pig. If you prefer, you can take a different angle. For example, this idea that that in the story of Rapunzel, when Rapunzel lets down her hair, that's a metaphor for her becoming a woman. Okay, that kind of argument would be great for this assignment if you can handle something a little bit more intellectual or a little bit more literary. Okay, but you cannot use this idea. This is my idea. Okay, and likewise, you cannot use the idea that the third pig was very wise. You need to use your own ideas. Okay, just like in the example, you're going to use the Jane Schaffer colors. You can use your four-color pen to underline after you're done printing in black and white if you prefer, or if you don't have color ink. That's fine with me, but it does need to be in Jane Schaffer color. Follow my suggestion and use the Grammarly.com website to find your mistakes. So if you have simple mistakes of punctuation and spelling, things like that, it means you didn't do the last step and you don't care about the quality of your writing, and you're willing to just take a risk and turn in any old piece of junk. Okay, don't do that. Follow the last step. For the lack of having a really good friend whose English is very good to proofread your work, well, we've got this website. No excuses. Okay, this part in red, super important. The assignment is not to write a summary of the fairy tale. So if you start telling me that Little Red Riding Hood is a little girl who took a basket of goodies to her sick grandmother, and on the way she ran into a wolf, okay, you're telling me the story again. That's not the assignment. You have to make an argument about the wolf or or Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, when's it due? Basically, first thing next week. Groups A, C, and D have class with me on Monday. Group B has class with me on Tuesday. So here are the due dates. Bring your printed document, and then we will check them together in class. You will exchange papers, and we'll go on from there. Good luck.